أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ثم الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه الأخيار أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته الحمد لله. And inshallah from today we are going to start reading the قصص النبيين أو قصص النبيين of للأطفال, the authorship of Abu al-Hasan Ali al-Hasani al-Nadawi, as we popularly know him as Abu al-Hasan al-Nadawi, yani the author of the Al-Qira'atu Rashida. I've gotten a lot of comments about reading this material, and inshallah we are going to start doing that from today alongside the other lessons that we are doing. So An-Nabiyyin is the plural of An-Nabi. The plural of An-Nabi, the prophet, can come as Al-Anbiya or An-Nabiyyun. Jamil. So here it is mudaf ilayhi, so it comes Qasasun Nabiyyin. Jamil. Lil Atfal says for kids, but kids here is not about age. If in language you are a kid, fine. If in terms of knowing the stories you are a kid, if you don't know them, you are a kid in terms of that. He wrote it purposely for kids, but it is useful for even elders, and we'll see that in the introduction of Sayyid Qutub that we are just about to read, inshallah. This session will just cover the introduction of Sayyid Qutub, and in subsequent lessons we will get into the material gradually, page by page, until we are done with it. This introduction is, it says, للباحث الداعية الأستاذ Sayyid Qutub, the researcher, the da'i, the ustaz, Sayyid Qutub. Sayyid Qutub, sorry, I'm sure a lot of us know Sayyid Qutub. He's a very strong member of the Al-Ikhwan al-Muslimin, the Islamic Brotherhood. And he was born on 1906 to 1966. Jamil. He's an Egyptian, and he died by hanging. I learned he was alleged to have committed the crime of assassinating somebody, and so he was also judged to be hanged, and that was done to him, and he died in 1966. Sayyid Qutb was a poet, he was a literator, an author in general, he was a da'i, Jamil, he was all that, and he used to also write a lot. And if you've heard of the poem, what is the poem? Ya akhi, I think, akhi anta hurrun wara as-sudud. Akhi anta hurrun wara as-sudud, something like that. That poem was also written by him, and it's a bit popular. So Sayyid Qutb has this to say about the book and also the author. He says, عرفت صاحب هذا الكتيب. I knew the author or the owner of this booklet, Al-Qutayyib, that is a tasghir of kitab. I knew the owner of this booklet as Sayyid Abu al-Hasan al-Nadawi. This person, Sayyid Qutb says he knew him. عرفته في شخصه وفي قلمه. Yani I knew him through his person and also through his pen. So through his writings I got to know him, and also through his person, yani in person, I got to know him. فعرفت فيه القلب المسلم. I realized in him the heart of a Muslim. والعقل المسلم, and the mind of a Muslim. Yani a Muslim mind and a Muslim heart in him. وعرفت فيه الرجل الذي يعيش بالإسلام وللإسلام. And I realized in him a man who lives by Islam for Islam. على فقه جيد للإسلام, on a very good and on a good understanding of Islam. And when he realized, he met with him, they have discussion, he realized that this man has a very good understanding of Islam. Then he says, هذه شهادة لله أؤديها. This is the witness I am bearing before Allah. وأنا أقدم هذه الطبعة من ذلك الكتيب الصغير. Whilst I am presenting, or I'm introducing this print of that small booklet. Consider it to be small, but it's not small for us. For us, it's quite a huge material. And even Sheikh will clarify, it is just small in terms of size comparatively, Jamil, but then it's a massive book. It says, وَقَصَص النَّبِيين لِلْأَطْفَالِ, this particular book, the stories of the prophets for kids, عَلَى صِغَرِ حَجْمِهِ, regardless of its small size, Amalun Jalil is a great work. Regardless of its small size, it is a great work. يضاف إلى أعمال السيد أبي الحسن وإخوانه الأفاضل. This adds to the work of يضاف إلى, it adds to the works of Sayyid Abul Hassan and his noble brothers, his respected brothers, إخوانه الأفاضل, in the field of الدعوة الإسلامية, in the field of Islamic call. فليس الكبار وحدهم هم الذين يجب أن يبلغ إليهم الإسلام في صورته النقية. He says, because it is not the elderly only that the message of Islam must reach them in its pure form, as صورته النقية is pure form. So it is not just the elderly that should have the image of Islam in its pure form. بل إن قلوب الصغار لأحوج إلى هذه الغذاء. The heart of the small ones, the kids, is even more in need of this meal, الغذاء, this nutrition. جميل. ليشبوا وطعم الإيمان في نفوسهم أو ليشبوا وطعم الإيمان في نفوسهم, so that they grow as having the taste of Iman in their nafs. وَنُورِهِ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ, and the light of Iman in their hearts. وَبَشَاشَتِهِ فِي أَرْوَاحِهِمْ, and the cheerfulness of the Iman in their souls. والقصص هي المادة الأولى أو القصص هي المادة الأولى التي تتفتح لها تلك القلوب الصغيرة البريئة. Says the stories is the subject, or is the first thing that those small innocent hearts, القلوب الصغيرة البريئة, those small innocent hearts opens up for. So when you have a kid, you realize that everybody is reading stories for their kids, even when the kid cannot hear anything. They're like bedtime stories. The cow went to Sayyid Qutb is saying that the heart of this kids, the pure small heart of these kids, opens up first for stories. And he says, وَهَذَا الْقُتَيِّبْ وَإِنْ كَانَ مَكْتُوبًا لِلصِّغَارِ, and this booklet, even if it is written for kids, يعني regardless of the fact that it is written for kids, إلا أنني أعتقد أن الكثيرين من الكبار في حاجة إلى أن يقرؤوه. Says that except that Sayyid Qutb, I believe, or I think, or I hold the understanding that a lot of the elderly people are in need of reading this book. A lot of the elderly people must read this book. Like us, we must read it. فالكثيرون لم يتح لهم تعليمهم الذي سيطر عليهم الاستعمار وهيمن عليه التبشير أن يعرفوا شيئا عن قصص القرآن الكريم. He says that because فالكثيرون, a lot of people, their education that was taken, their education whose authority was taken over by colonization. سيطر عليه, سيطر على الشيء بمعنى to take the authority of something, to overpower something. Al-isti'maru, colonization. So a lot of the elderly people, because they grew up in the period of colonization, the education that they had that was taken over by colonization, وَهَيْمَنَ عَلَيْهِ التَّبْشِير. Tabshir is evangelism. And evangelism took over it. هَيْمَنَ عَلَى سَيْطَرَ عَلَى, synonyms. And evangelism, the evangelism of the West had taken over the education that the Muslim people should have got, the Qutb and all that. And he says that due to that, لَمْ يُتِهْ لَهُمْ تَعْلِيمُهُمْ. Yutih is from ataha, to afford something, to afford an opportunity to somebody. Ataha, the mudari yutihu, then we say lam yutih. Jamil. So this education that was overtaken by the colonization and also evangelism didn't grant them the opportunity an ya'arifu shay'an an qisas al-Quran al-Karim, so that they know something of the stories of the noble Quran. Wa maramihi al-amiqa, and its deep goals. The marami is the marma, the plural of marma, which is what you intend to hit at, the target, and the deeper target of the message of the stories in the Quran. وجوه أو وجوه الإيماني التهذيبي المؤثر, and the faith-based atmosphere and the education-based atmosphere, the effective education and faith-based atmosphere of these stories. Al-Imani at-Tahzibi, education and faith-based jaw, atmosphere. Al-Mu'athir, effective. Yani the effective faith and education-based atmosphere of these stories, كما هو معروض في هذا الكتاب في هذا الكتيب, as it has been presented in this booklet. So a lot of the elderly, like most of us, we grew up not having the chance to get these educations firsthand in its pure form, because we grew up in colonization period. Not really me, because I didn't see colonization, but a lot of us saw colonization, and due to that time there were not that comfort, that free role for all type of education to be going on, because the colonizing master is doing evangelism. He wants you to embrace whatever he brought and all that. So they didn't get to learn all these things as it is presented in this book. It says, وَلَقَدْ قَرَأْتُ الْكَثِيرَ مِنْ كُتُبِ الْأَطْفَالِ. Sayyid Qutb is saying that I have read a lot of books of kids, a lot of books for kids, or a lot of kids books. بما في ذلك قصص الأنبياء عليهم الصلوات والسلام. Part of that is the قصص الأنبياء عليهم الصلاة والسلام, a book. It says وشاركت في تعليف مجموعة القصص الديني للأطفال. There is a collection of books that is called القصص الديني للأطفال, religious stories for kids. Sayyid Qutb is saying that شاركت في تعليفه, I was part of writing this particular collection of books. It says في مصر, in Egypt, مأخوذا كذلك من القرآن الكريم. These stories were also taken from the noble Quran. ولكني أشهد في غير مجاملة. He says that, but me, I bear witness. I bear witness without flattery. Mujamala is flattery. So somebody is talking to you and it's like, Anta wallahi اليوم تبدو جميلا والله العظيم بدون مجاملة. Yani without any flattery. I'm sincere. I'm being sincere. I صريحا بدون مجاملة. There is no, I'm not flattering you for anything. جميل. Says ولكني أشهد في غير مجاملة أن عمل السيد أبي الحسن في هذه القصة التي بين يدي, that I bear witness without flattery that the work of Sayyid Abul Hassan in this particular story that is in my hands right now, بين يدي بمعنى is in my hands, جاء أكمل من هذا كله, أو جاء أكمل من هذا كله. It came complete than all the things that he participated in writing, all the things that he read, and all. This particular material is more complete than all of them. وذلك بما احتوى من توجيهات رقيقة, due to what this one contains. احتوى, contain, due to what this particular material contains of the gentle directives. توجيهات رقيقة, يعني the gentle directives. You be told do this, do that gently, or soft directives. وإيضاحات كاشفة, clarifications that reveal limarami al-qissa, that reveal the goals of the story. There are a lot of clarifications in there that will reveal the goal of that particular story. وحوادثها ومواقفها is events in the story, and also there are episodes in the story, the hawadis and the mawaqif, episodes and also events in the story. Have fun. And then he says, ومن تعليقات داخلة داخلة في ثنايا القصة, and also comments, تعليقات بمعنى comments inside the depth of the story. ثنايا بمعنى the plural of ثنية, the fold of something, the inside of something. جميل. أيوه. And then he says ولكنها توحي بحقائق إيمانية ذات خطر. جميل. It gives realities of faith. ذات خطر هي بحقائق إيمانية ذات خطر هي. خطر that here doesn't mean dangerous, means important, critical. So these particular materials give realities of faith, iman, that are very critical, important. حين تستقر في قلوب الصغار أو الكبار, when it gains its stability, or when it stabilizes in the heart of the young ones, the kids and the elderly. Says Jazallahu Sayyid Abul Hassan khairan. May Allah reward Mr. Abul Hassan. Say Abul Hassan. May Allah reward him with goodness. وزاده توفيقا, and grant increase him in his success. وهدى به الأجيال الناشئة, and also guide the upcoming generation. الأجيال الناشئة, الأجيال the plural of جيل. جيل is a generation. الناشئة upcoming, and guide with Abul Hassan the upcoming generation. التي تحيط بها العواصف والأعاصير, that is surrounded by awasif. Awasif, that is storm, the plural of asifa, storm. That is surrounded, this particular upcoming generation, that is us. We are surrounded by storms, yani a lot of dangers. When you open social media, you open anything, there are a lot of dangers. Well, asir is also hurricanes. That is the plural of i'sarun. Jamil, plural of i'sarun, which is hurricanes. وتنتثر, I think i'sar, we have it in the Quran. We have فأصابها إعصار فيه نار فاحترقت. In the Quran, if you search, you find the verse. It says وتنتثر في طريقها الأشواك. تنتثر بمعنى تنتشر, from انتشر انتثر. And the part of this particular generation is scattered with thorns. Al-ashwak, the plural of shawka or shawk, that is thorns. A lot of thorns on the part of this upcoming generation. وَتَدُلُّهُمْ مِنْ حَوْلِهَا الظُّلُمَاتِ, and at the side, if you go off the road where it is scattered with thorns and all this stuff, spikes and all that, the side of it is also darkness here and there. And so he says what? He says وَتَحْتَاجُ إِلَى الْهُدَى وَالنُّورُ وَالرِّعَايَةِ. It requires guidance. It requires al-huda, guidance, wal-nur, and also light, wal-ri'aya, and care, wal-ikhlas, and sincerity, fi hiyatatiha, yani in protecting it, in guarding it, wal-ri'ayatiha, and in taking care of it. And then he says وَعَلَى اللَّهِ التَّوْفِيقِ, and it is upon Allah that we put our hopes of success. Yani Allah should grant us success. So this is where the introduction of Sayyid Qutb ends, and inshallah from there I believe you are going to be going into the actual Muqaddimah of the book, inshallah. May Allah grant us success as we've started this one. May Allah see us to the end of it. Till we meet again, have a very good time. Don't forget to go through and read again. If there is any word you do not understand, you get back for clarification, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.